So as I mentioned, our parasha, our very special portion, one of our double portions, this week is Acharei-Mot and Kedoshim. And in Acharei-Mot, we get started with the instructions that we actually revisit later on in the year, all to do with Yom Kippur. And of course, recognizing Yom Kippur, one of our holiest days in the calendar, but we're also reminded about this preparation period that we have before Yom Kippur and before Rosh Hashanah. That whole period, the month before, leading up to the high holy days, the days of awe, is our period of turning and turning and turning and doing that internal work, making sure that we know who we are and that we are ultimately ready to enter the new year, the best versions of ourselves, as pure as we can be, etc., etc. And then, of course, we lead into Yom Kippur. And at the moment, we are the parallel to that whole process. We're in the flip side of the calendar with the Omer, which is every single day between the second day of Pesach and Shavuot, we're counting each day. But we're not just saying today's day one, tomorrow's day two. We're doing some deep counting, some deep accounting of ourselves, similar to that time period that we do just before Yom Kippur. And each day that we're counting of the Omer, we go through, because we have 7 weeks, and of course 7 days in a week, we go through 7 of these attributes of God, and we look at chesed, loving kindness, and we look at gevura, strength, etc., etc., and we go through all of these kind of energies, holy energies. Each week has an assigned energy, and then each day of that week has one of those assigned energies. And we deeply unpack each of these, I suppose, energies or attributes of God as we make our way through the Omer. So we'll count the Omer a little bit later in the service, but for example, today is the 27th day of the Omer, and because we're in what does that make it, the 4th week? Is that right? Yes, the 4th week. Is it the 3rd week? No, it's the 4th week in counting. Make me panic on my math. And which is the week of Netzach, which is the week of Netzach is the persistence and the perseverance is the attribute of Netzach. But we're also on that 6th day of the week. So we're not just looking at the concept of perseverance and persistence, but we're actually looking at the 6th day of the week is the day of Yesod. And Yesod is the balance, the foundation. And so each day we're unpacking a different facet of each of these energies throughout the Omer. And so what we're unpacking this week or today specifically, this Shabbat in the Omer, is this idea of what is grounding us, what is balancing us, what are our foundations that we need in place so that we can persevere, so that we can persist through whatever challenge comes our way. And thinking about all of those questions, it's our task throughout the Omer to dig deeper and, of course, unpack that so that we can do some personal healing, some personal assessing, and of course ultimately create a holier version of ourselves throughout this process, which of course is not a one-time thing. We don't go through the Omer, and if we say every number every day of the Omer, that's it, then we're good to go. We are the holiest we can be. It's an ongoing thing, and of course each year, if we really dedicate ourselves in this process, in this time, we get to take a step further in understanding who we are and knowing ourselves so that we can show up in our best versions wherever we are in every way in life. which of course brings us to that idea of holiness, which is the second parasha that we're reading today, Kedoshim, which is quite literally an instruction to be holy. Our Torah portion opens with, it's not one of the commandments, but it kind of sounds like them. You need to, show up for yourself, show up for your community. You need to holify yourself. You need to make yourself better and the best version that you can possibly be. And so this instruction, which is a little bit alarming at first, oh my goodness, how do I make myself the best version of myself? But through these processes like the one that we take through before Yom Kippur and the Omer that we're going through now, these are kind of like the map, right? Be holy is the task, and the Omer and the month before Yom Kippur is our little route map on how to do that. And each year we get to add more layers to that, and we get to understand more, and we get to dive deeper into these processes of how we can be showing up in the best possible versions that we can possibly be. So we're in a really beautiful time of understanding Acharei-Mot and Kedoshim within the Omer, within the context of the Omer, and of course very specifically today within this context of the foundations and the balance within, of course, persistence and perseverance. So wishing us all a Shabbat Shalom. Hoping that we find that balance and find the foundation that we need to persist through any challenge that is before us. Good Shabbos.